Qatar says it is working with Pakistan to bring the United States and Iran back to negotiations. The comments follow Pakistani Army Chief Asim Munir's visit to Tehran, where Islamabad said progress had been made in efforts to reduce regional tensions.
Our officials are on the phone on a daily basis trying to workshop ideas, workshop ways of getting back to the negotiations.
Qatar says it is not seeking a separate deal with Iran for its own energy shipments through Hormuz.
This is a regional problem that needs a regional solution. It cannot be addressed bilaterally with Iran. Iran has closed the Strait of Hormuz, and in a way that goes beyond the international maritime law and goes beyond good neighborly relations. This needs to end immediately.
The diplomatic push comes as Washington widens sanctions on Iran, and Tehran threatens to retaliate against countries that enforce them. Qatar says it remains committed to mediation, but Iran's latest threats have created another obstacle to efforts to bring Tehran and Washington back to negotiations. Doha insists diplomacy remains the only way out of the crisis. Mohammed Alashi, Euronews, Doha.
Canada has announced counter-tariffs on U.S. goods as the trade war between Ottawa and Washington escalates.
Rate for rate.
Finance Minister François-Philippe Champagne said Canada would impose tariffs of up to 50% from 8th of September, targeting 17 billion euros in U.S. imports.
On 27.
The move follows new U.S. duties of 50% affecting over 17 billion euros worth of Canadian goods after trade talks between the countries broke down. Beyond the tariffs, Champagne announced a 4.6 billion euro aid package for Canadian workers and businesses, saying the U.S. proposals were unfair and unacceptable. U.S. President Donald Trump has also threatened to double tariffs on Canadian vehicles from 2027, saying cars, trucks, automotive parts and steel would face duties of 50%. The escalating dispute marks a sharp deterioration in trade relations between the two neighbors, with both sides defending measures to protect their economies.
Because I want to be a great man too.
This is the moment when hypersonic ballistic missiles launched by Russia hit a block of flats in Kyiv. This is major damage. Many of the people who were sleeping in their apartments at that time lost their lives, and the injured count is nearly 100. Survivors remember with horror the sound of missiles and the devastating explosions. Victoria is 36 years old and says that after the July 2nd bombings, she can hardly sleep at night, especially since her son also suffered a strong shock.
Ми в цей час були з чоловіком і з сином, моєму синові 7 років. Ми були у себе в квартирі, в коридорі. У нас повибивало всі вікна, було дуже страшно. І в той момент важко було зорієнтуватися. У нас тут почалася пожежа від того, що осколок попав в трубу і почалась дуже сильна пожежа. І двері наші вхідні в під'їзд були заблоковані. І люди, які спускалися з верхніх поверхів, не могли вийти. І тоді мій чоловік відкрив наші двері з нашої квартири. І люди виходили, евакуювалися через нашу квартиру. Тобто там вибилося вікно, і через наше вікно виходили всі люди з під'їзду. Другий місяць живемо, кожну ніч ми спимо в укритті.
După aproape 2 luni, utilajele au venit să acopere craterul pe care l-a provocat racheta balistică trimisă de ruși pe 2 iulie, atunci când 30 de oameni au murit aici în Kiev.
The Russian shelling is so intense that in Kiev you can find entire streets where almost every building is damaged. And this summer, the Russian army changed its strategy. Moscow soldiers are bombarding the Ukrainian capital, mainly with ballistic missiles and missile drones, which are hard to destroy. Even so, people find every day the strength to have a somewhat normal life and forget for a few moments about the war horrors. Mothers raise their babies, children play. At a first glance, Kyiv seems a city like any other. But when night falls, the warning alarms and explosions, like a broken clock, insist on reminding them that the Russians are attacking again for almost 5 years.
Але справляємось, що нам робити. Ми з Києва нікуди виїжджати не плануємо. Тут сім'я, тут бізнес, тут діти, тут школа, тут робота. то все. Ходимо в укриття, готуємо дітей до школи, живемо.
The United Nations and the Red Cross warned that the world is dangerously close to a future where autonomous weapons, so-called killer robots, could target humans. The organizations called for urgent international regulations, as there is currently no specific treaty on autonomous and AI-enabled weapons.
3 years ago, we called on states to establish specific provisions and restrictions on autonomous weapon systems. Today, we renew this call with even greater urgency. The fundamental concerns remain unchanged, but the risks have intensified. We are now dangerously close to crossing a moral red line, the autonomous targeting of humans by machines.
To protect civilians.
In 2023, the UN and the Red Cross called for states to establish specific bans and restrictions on the rapidly developing technology by this year. Lethal autonomous weapon systems are able to select targets and apply force without human intervention. There has to date been no confirmed use of fully autonomous weapons, but with the abundant use of drone warfare in the Middle East and Ukraine, some fear it could soon happen. After 3 years of talks, countries are set to decide in November whether to launch treaty negotiations.
Roofs were torn off and homes were damaged after a tornado tore through a village in the southwest of France on Monday, injuring 41 people. The tornado hit the village of Beaumas, where the destruction was significant. An estimated 300 homes were damaged. Over 120 emergency workers were deployed to the scene and reinforcements are expected from nearby regions. Authorities said 15 people were taken to the hospital. Videos circulating online show an impressive vortex of wind moving through several communities. The National Weather Service said winds had reached up to 117 kilometers per hour. French authorities had placed several regions of the country's southwest on orange alert for storms. Numerous areas were hit by power outages. The storms also upended the transportation network, delaying trains, forcing road closures and causing delays and cancellations at airports in Bordeaux, Marseille, Nice, Toulouse and even Paris.
Usually peaceful, the French resort town of Les Deux Alpes was at the center of a controversy a few days ago following a video that went viral on social media in which the manager of this snack bar makes anti-Semitic remarks.
C'est qui on est trop nombreux, madame?
La communauté juive est trop nombreux.
Et alors?
C'est qu'à un moment donné, ça excède les gens.
Ça excède les gens?
Mais bien sûr.
An investigation has been launched following this incident, but the incident has cast a chill over the resort, which Orthodox Jewish families have been visiting every summer for decades.
Disons que ça met une mauvaise ambiance sur la station. Ils ne coopèrent pas du tout, ils ne participent à rien, ni restauration, ni bar. Ni activités, enfin juste les activités des enfants, les jeux, c'est tout.
This incident has also sparked a lot of talk and brought to light potential sources of tension that may exist in Alpine resorts between the local population and vacationers.
Il y a d'autres personnes, même quand on marche dans la rue avec les enfants, qui parlent mal aux enfants parce qu'ils ont des kippotes. C'est-à-dire que les gens sont frustrés, qu'il y a des enfants, qu'il y a beaucoup de juifs. Donc c'est pas la seule finalement.
Bon, quand j'étais à Tignes, il y avait des problématiques sur par exemple la piscine, sur le fait de devoir se baigner, que les hommes, que les femmes, il fallait que les maîtres nageurs soient du même sexe que les baigneurs. Et c'est vrai que c'est des fonctionnements qu'on n'a pas, donc qui peuvent, je ne sais pas si conflit c'est le bon mot, mais en tout cas il y a une nécessité d'ajustement et des fois c'est des points bloquants tout simplement.
The mayor of Uez also responded to the controversy. He said he remembers moments of tension in the past, but he assured that the situation has improved significantly.
Around 3,000 people in Indonesia's South Sumatra province have performed a special Islamic prayer for rain as huge blazes continue to scorch swaths of forest and peatlands in the central and western regions. They met in the courtyard of the governor's office as thick smoke shrouded roads, buildings, and public facilities, significantly reducing visibility. South Sumatra Governor Herman Deru said the prayers would complement ongoing firefighting and drought mitigation measures. He added that it would also serve as a moment for residents to unite in confronting the environmental challenges facing the province. South Sumatra has the highest number of wildfire hotspots in all of Indonesia, with the latest government data recording its tally at 1,429, followed by West Kalimantan, which sat at 1,226. Officials say wildfires have so far burned an area close to 1,000 square kilometers in July alone, with 20 square kilometers in the southeastern province.
Germany's economy grew more than previously expected in the second quarter, with GDP rising 0.3% from April to June. The revised figure from the Federal Statistical Office was higher than the initial estimate of 0.2%. Year-on-year, GDP increased by 1%, revised from 0.9%. Exports rose 2%, helping drive growth, while household and government consumption increased only 0.1%. Manufacturing output also rose by 0.9%, led by the chemical and electrical equipment industries. Beyond the latest growth figures, Germany's IFO Business Climate Index rose to 88.8 in August from 86.7 in July, suggesting improving sentiment across major sectors. However, high energy prices and weak domestic demand remain risks. Germany's government now expects the economy to grow by 0.5% in 2026, down from its previous forecast of 1%. The economy has struggled in recent years amid high energy costs, stronger Chinese competition, and US tariffs.